There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. Oh, my God. That was fucking loud. I screwed it up before we started. Welcome to the show. Sorry, Locke. What are you looking at me like that for?
Well, because it's a fairly common practice for you to mess up the intro.
Always. Yeah. Now it feels like home.
Hey, we also need a different picture review at the front end of this thing.
Why?
Well, because that's heavy, Dean.
Oh, fatter Dean, yeah.
That's heavier, Dean. That's like Dean just quit drinking, and now you're like Dean
Is that what did
on the vape.
Yeah.
On the vape thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Raine joins us from Our Lady Peace as well, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. He's the guy that just said, is that what did it? Is that how you lost the weight? Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't drink. And when you quit drinking, you're not as fat, apparently. You can eat basically whatever you want. Literally, if you don't drink.
So. That's it.
Yeah,
but I was one of those now. Yeah, I was one of those cats. Yeah, it's medicinal though, dude. It grows in the ground. Don't like one thing at a time. Okay, relax. But I was that guy that like needed to have a drink before I went to bed. But like the drink was, I don't know if you know people like this. It's like I never really measured the ounces. Okay, I wasn't an ounce measurer at home, so it'd just be a big free pour. Listen, I've partied with you backstage, Raine. I've drank with most of the people here. It just didn't fit me anymore, you know. Like it just didn't work for me anymore. So I quit, and all of a sudden I wasn't so fat. But that's not why we're here.
It's interesting though. Yeah, it's funny. Like I love scotch. I can't do it anymore, man. I think I have an ulcer. Like,
are you serious?
I know another guy that has an ulcer that was a big scotch guy.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah. Bad. I think it chews away. I think scotch eventually, if you do it over like a long period of time, he's chipping away at 50 here. And I think over time it does have some rather significant impact on your stomach lining for some reason.
It does. Yeah. It's a bummer, man.
Was it like were you a one scotch a week guy? Were you a couple of scotches, or was it?
I was kind of like
people
you.
that get.
I was like you. Like I love to have a scotch at night just to chill out, especially after a show. Like that was kind of my thing. And then I don't know, but 5 years into it, I was like, what is happening? This is crazy. And so I've stopped, and I definitely, it wasn't a losing weight thing, but I couldn't sleep afterwards with that. And I haven't got checked for like an ulcer particularly, but I was taking those purple pills every day, whatever those things are called, Nexium or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. What, to help you sleep? Was it one of those?
No,
it was like a thing, right?
Man, I had like just this, like I said, like that ulcer. Just it's a real bitch.
Yeah,
reflex or whatever. Was it kicking back on you?
Yeah, reflex.
Yeah.
Reflex.
You know who
I'm just like, oh shit, it's burning my vocal cords. This is not good.
You know who I respect in that process are guys like you, but guys that go, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna put milk in the scotch and I'm gonna tone it down so I can get it in me.
Baby. I know I might go for that, right? The White Russian.
Yeah, there's some cream in there that settles down the ulcer.
I don't know why I didn't think about that. I might just move to that and see if I can get through this thing.
As you should. Dude, it is great to see Raine made, obviously, from Our Lady Peace. He's got a new song out called Stop Making Stupid People Famous, and it's really fucking good. It's different, but the title leaves little to the imagination. Just a quick question. What's it about?
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's funny. So I had that in my back pocket. And I don't usually do this. When I write lyrics, I kind of like, I vibe off the song, the moment. But this thing was like, I'm keeping this for the right track and for the right, I guess, moment. And so it feels like we've just come out of that moment. But again, like it's pretty cliche. I think we all know, the kinds of people that the song is referencing. But it's not really about like that. That's the underlying thing, or that's like the I don't know, the clickbait. And it kind of works into that whole shit just on so many levels. But the title is a clickbait, I guess. And then the song's really about, like, actually the chorus says, working on a dream. And it's supposed to be a little bit more aspirational. But you can't get away from that title.
No, you can't. But the song itself is, and if you say, here's the lyrics to it, I got the feeling we were dreaming when the panic attacked and we kept making stupid people famous. Now we're paying for that. Yeah, you're welcome. We look for meaning on the ceiling when we lie in our beds. We blame our parents and our therapist for clouding our heads. I went through the lyrics of this. I told you, dude, I prepped for this stuff, bud. I
love
prepped
it.
for this,
I love
even
it.
though we're friends. Yeah. But I went through it and I'm like, I wonder which individual or people touched off this thing like, fuck, I need to write a song about these people. And we know who we're talking about, right? Like, was there a specific person or a specific example? I see you smiling a little bit, which means there might be something there.
Well, that would be too easy. Depending on one person would be too easy. But I kind of like. It's funny because we started playing this song when we were doing this. It was called the Ultimate Tour down here a couple summers ago with Live in Bush, and so we're playing these huge places. Like, you know what, we should try the song out and see what it feels like. And so I would actually talk about the song first, and it made me analyze. Like, okay, really, if I have to explain like where it came from, it actually goes back, and I don't blame her. But I go back to like Paris Hilton as like maybe inception point, right? Of damn, okay, reality TV is born kind of like, I guess, on VH1 or something, or MTV. And then from there, like the next step was like, okay, Public Enemy, the seminal kind of hip hop band. The guy, you know, all of a sudden this guy's on a reality show with the clock, and it's just like, oh my God, this is going downhill quick, right? And
it's an avalanche now.
Or you're talking about Flavor Flav when he got his reality TV show? Yeah, that's what you're talking about. And then that you know what? Right? That's a big watermark for guys, right? Because they're so fucking influential. Dude,
Chuck D's still the man. Like, we need Chuck D today more than ever. But then that's where, you know, Flavor Flav has like this. That was his path. It's just really surreal. And obviously we get to today, and I have young boys now who are on social media a lot, and then you get into like the Paul brothers and other bullshit, and it's just like, man, we lost we kind of lost touch. But you know, I think, like I said, it's too easy just to make fun of them. So the whole idea of this is like, let's just stop. Like, let's start elevating people that actually are deserving. And
that's my fucking point. I've been saying that now. Like, you got to stop. Like, why are you buying a pay-per-view for these idiots? Don't do it,
man. I watched that last fight. I'm a loser. I know. I'm like,
read your fucking song, Raine. What are you doing?
Bro, I am a walking contradiction, and I'm okay with that. But I look at it as more as like, I'm trying to study, right? I feel like I put myself out there. So no, it's true. It's true.
But dude, you can't listen. You can't get Brent. You can't get away from it. Like, you talk about it being the pariah of our lifetime. Social media, people doing things virally to get fame, hurting themselves, hurting others. It's effective, right? You talk about clickbait. It works. That's exactly what it is. But it's different now because you can't get away from it. Like, you can't watch a television show that wasn't born on the internet. So it's kind, and you reference Flavor Flav or reference legitimate musicians that have decided to take the money and get into this, and then and then they're like, oh, I got the external gratification of being someone again, and it's addictive, and it's systemic, right? It just is not going to stop happening. But I love the fact you shit on it for 3 minutes in a song, which is great.
That's it.
And then buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you did. I can't believe you bought it.
The thing I like about where we're at right now is that every once in a while somebody will come up with a new idea about how to, and everybody will go like, oh, no, this person's doing it differently, right? Like, he's ignoring this, or he's not doing it this way, and they become huge, but they're just playing the fucking game. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the whole Fleetwood Mac thing with the guy on the skateboard drinking the whatever it was, Mountain Dew or
cranberry
something.
Juice.
Cranberry juice. Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Like that. That's awesome. Like that this guy didn't
that's
know
perfect.
What he's doing. It's like that's what I like. Like there's a real person. I'm sure he made a little bit of bank off that, and that works. But you're right. Everything else is so. Problem is, it's really seeped into music now too. So if you're not like you said, Dean, like most stars that you see on film and television of and ideas have come from social platforms, and now music is definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel there as well. And that's how they're, you can't get a record deal unless you have so many views on TikTok and YouTube, and that's just like totally the reverse of the way music's been built for the last 50 years and artists' careers have been built. So we're feeling like the stress and the strain of that right now. But again, I think it just takes a minute for the real artists to kind of catch up and learn how to leverage that stuff to their benefit and not get like defeated by it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
It does.
I have a lot of musician friends, and I'm still in radio, and I still get asked, not as much anymore, but how do we break ourselves? And people tell bands now more than ever, you have to have some success on TikTok. And I'm
Right.
like, come on. If I was in a band and I'm a young guy and somebody said, and I was actually decent at what I did, and I was creating something that I thought was worthy of additional ears other than my family and friends, and somebody told me that I needed to go viral on TikTok, I think I'd walk into fucking traffic right now. I'd end it all.
Yeah. It's rough,
like,
man.
didn't they? There was just an article on Mother breaking wide open because of a TikTok song, and Mother was already doing well. I mean, at least in British Columbia. I don't know how it was going around the rest of the country. I think it was going pretty good down in the States.
Pretty decent, no? Yeah.
But there's a massive, like, they've just blown up just through TikTok. It's very interesting to that point because Raine, you're surrounded by so many people as you guys put a record out and you're trying to figure out like the next step to do. I think we've all touched on this before about the traditional way of kind of, getting it out there. But are you guys getting the pressure from all your team to go down that road first, or are you guys still sticking to the traditional way of releasing songs? Because I think it's perfectly timed. And when we talked before, you said we're not going to put anything out until the absolute perfect time when this thing comes out, and it seems like the perfect time. But I'm sure you guys are getting tons of different.
They're going to do all that stuff. So we have people on the team that take care of social media and all those other platforms. So it's going to go to those things. I go back to just the basic premise of, and I'm a Gladwell fan. I'm not sure if I completely agree with the 10,000 hours, but like, do that. Like, be an artist, be great live, because no matter what happens on a platform or TikTok, if you're not good live, that's where the money is. And if you can't perform there and convince people that you mean it and it's real, you're done. So that's kind of, my thinking. It's funny, my kid, I've never really talked to him about this, but he did the TikTok thing for a minute because there's a feature on it called Duets, which is pretty dope. You can go on there, you can find like a sick chord progression from some kid in Japan that played acoustic guitar, and you can sing on top of it, and an original melody, original hook, and he'll have 500 kids do that as well, right? And it's just so you're collaborating, right, with someone you never met before and probably will never meet. That is just on a collaboration level. I think that's incredibly really beneficial for kids to start doing that. But then there's questions like who owns the IP. Anyway, the long story is all of a sudden I was asking my kid Rowan, like, have you done any TikToks lately, any duets lately? And he's like, no, I'm over it. Like, I just want to be an art. I just want to get better at piano and writing songs. And I'm over trying to get like clout and followers and likes. And he goes, it's just like, it's not good for my mental health. I was like, did your mom tell you that? Or did you think of that in yourself? Because like,
that's awesome.
That like, yeah. So like understanding, especially, as a musician, it's like, that's where you need to focus, like at least 80% of your energy. If you have to do the other stuff, I get it. You got to kind of wear two hats these days. Like Jay-Z says, you got to be a businessman. And so it's there, but if you go full there, you're gonna stop there as well, I think. So for the mother thing, it's like you said, they have a career, they're doing well, they're making records. This other thing happens and it bumps them, cool. But they were already a great band before that, and they're gonna exist past the next TikTok fad if it's not them, which is amazing.
By the way,
do you ever remember? Sorry, go ahead, Locke, and I'll ask my question after.
I was just gonna say, if you want any advice from a 50-year-old washed up DJ, I noticed.
I'd like your manifesto, please.
Thank you. Stuff that really catches my attention is overweight people falling. So if you're doing a video, just throw that in there. You'll be huge, Raine.
Or two old guys fighting. Those get big.
Two old guys fighting. Those are fucking awesome too.
Those are amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I saw one video yesterday and it had to have been a year old, and I put it out, and it was just the fastest fight you've ever seen. And I'll play it for you. But we put it out. It now has 8.7 million views. And before we put it out, it had like 2,000. And it's just two guys fighting, but the fight's so short. Here it is.
Go hands me all you fucking want, bro. You think you fuck? You need to fucking quit, you stupid fuck.
8.7 million people.
Wow.
You didn't see it? You didn't see
I
the
didn't
hit?
see the hit.
Oh, dude,
No,
it's
I just saw him
incredible.
on the floor.
Watch it, because I think he concusses himself hitting his head into the car hood prior to actually getting punched out. But watch the guy in the this is huge. Like, I put this out and I threw it out there as a joke, right? Like, I'll just throw this up. Millions of people watch.
Go hands me all you fucking want, bro. You think you fuck? You need to fucking quit, stupid fuck.
Now, if those guys had a band, they'd sell 1 million records tomorrow.
Right? Yeah.
Or they'd have more money for meth.
Yeah, this is true.
If our video single number 2 is just a bunch of those clips, don't be surprised.
Listen, I don't think you
Right?
can lose, Raine.
You can't.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, this is a legitimate question. Like, I've been caught. You know what we do. We've talked a little bit about what we do. And I put out clickbait headlines to get people to have a look at it, right? But then there's a point where, as someone who's specifically through the pandemic and you're trying to be accurate with information, you're like, I don't want to be part of that community anymore, right?
Yeah.
But to be successful when it comes to being an artist or when it comes to doing content, you have to be part of that community. Have you struggled with that as an individual and as a band where you've got people saying you got to do more of this if you want to achieve X? And when you're like, dude, I don't want to be these guys that achieve viral fame. I just want to do the music.
Yeah, I struggled with it so Chantal and I made a documentary a couple years ago now. It just came out in the US, and the whole team behind us was saying, you know what, you guys need to get because it was basically we captured the making of this record on this little French island. And there was, we were a couple, we've been together for a while. We got kids, mortgages, dogs, all the bullshit. And there's always it's just madness at our house. So we flew away to this island. It was 3 flights and 5,000 miles away. And we're stuck in the winter on this thing, ready to kill each other. And now we got to write music. And she just walks in. What?
Hey, who are you talking to?
I'm on a podcast.
Hi there. He was just telling a love story. He was just talking about the love story.
It's all good.
I need it right now.
Oh, it's upstairs in my bedroom.
Where?
In the blue thing.
Your bedroom, not my bedroom. Just
Okay.
my bedroom.
Are we doing this live right now? Is this happening? It's in the blue case in the bedroom.
But where is the blue case in the bedroom?
Right where all the shoe boxes are, right next to it.
In your
Open that up.
closet?
Yeah, in my closet. Thank you.
Right where all the shoe boxes are.
Yes.
Right next to it.
Yeah, in my bedroom. Okay, bye.
Would you like a scotch?
So
Can I interest you in an alcoholic beverage?
in a 1-bedroom bachelor.
That looked like about 90% of the conversations I have with my beautiful wife, who I love dearly, and I've spent numerous years with. And she doesn't question my alcohol. Yeah.
You cannot reproduce that.
All I said was my bedroom. That's it. It's over now for the next 3 days.
I like that it's all beside the shoe boxes. It's all beside the shoe boxes as well. I throw mine out, but
so back to the love story. You're with your wife on an island, and we're talking about how you got to start writing a record. By the way, that couldn't have been greater. Thank you for that moment.
That was very well timed. Did you plan that?
Good job.
Oh my God, no! And she'll come back, I'm sure. But anyway, so so we did this album and this documentary, and people were like, oh my God, you're so brave. And I'm like, why? You don't fight with your wife? Anyway, so the thing was, after when we're releasing it, we started doing these because of COVID, we're just bored. We would do these fireside chats on Sunday mornings. And we just talk about relationships. And Chantal loves doing this. I don't. But I was like, okay, I'll play along for a minute, right? And so we do it, and they got huge hits, and people were flipping out while we're on it, and all the comments.
I've seen
and stuff.
one of those. I'm sure I've seen one.
Dude, you were heralded for saving marriages and talking about things,
right.
And there you are going, I wish it wasn't that successful, because it wasn't.
But you're close, because I said after a couple months of this, I can't do that anymore. It's not my thing. I'm fine to talk about the how you collaborate and how that works in a marriage, or how it works as 2 people trying to write music together. But just to separate and say, let's talk about our marriage and where we go wrong and this, I'm like, I love you. I hope she can hear this. I love my wife so much, I don't know if she's around, but
I felt that, Raine. I
did
felt
too.
that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Good.
that was good.
I'll
That was
just make sure.
that was no wonder you're so successful on stage.
Do you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna clip that and just add it to all of her accounts so that you win again. Yeah, you're welcome.
Like I said, I just said, honey, I love you so much, but I can't fucking do this. Like, there's no way I can just sit and there's nothing musical, there's nothing artistic. It feels like therapy, and so, or coaching or whatever we call it, which is great, but I can't participate anymore. So we stopped, and our team was just like, what are you doing? Like, this is huge. You guys are building an audience this way. And I was just like, man, it's just at some point on every level, whether it's TikTok or that shit we were doing, it's like, you got to draw that line in the sand, right? Where it's like, that's just not authentic to me, man. And I feel like it's not even like, I go back to like Neil Young when he did some commercials or talked about like selling out to corporations, and you're like selling out to Instagram or to TikTok. You're just making them money, first of all. But so there's like a moral issue there, but it really comes down just to the artist. And so I think if you were to ask like Mother, if they'd like to go fabricate something on TikTok again and do something, that'll help give them another, bump, I would imagine they're like, no, they're going to take it, but you can't force that shit. And that's, if there's one thing I've learned throughout my career, even making this new record, when you don't force something, oh my God, I don't snore. I sleep so well at night. It's beautiful.
But the other thing too, Raine, is it's a way that men and women communicate, right? And I had to learn this about myself and about my disputes and arguments and disruptive moments with my beautiful, lovely wife, who I love dearly. See, see, when she's got a problem, she'll tell me about the problem, and I'll go, well, just drink some fucking water, take a couple of Tylenol. You get a fucking headache. And then she'll go, yeah, but, and then she wants to talk about why she has a headache.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is go, just fix the fucking problem. And then we're done. And then I can go on to drinking in the basement. Right? She wants to talk about why the headache's there, how it got there, why it developed, and all the reasons why, all the multiple reasons as to why she might have a headache. And I want to fucking kill myself at the end of it, right? So that's the whole, that seemed a little harsh.
That was a harsh one. Yeah, it was a harsh one. And I think where Raine was going, good for you for like unloading how you felt in that moment, for getting triggered in that conversation, because it had nothing to do with what we were actually talking about, Locke. You just wanted to go.
No, but hold on. No, it does. It does. It has a lot to do with why Raine wanted to back out of those fucking things. It's how men and women deal with things differently.
No, okay,
Chantel wants to sit there and have a conversation about why the marriage is doing this.
They wanted him to keep doing it, and he was like, I don't dig this.
No.
But his team was like virally. Well, let's ask Raine instead of us arguing
well,
over what he meant.
And here's the thing, Lachlan. Here's the difference. And I don't mind doing it. Like I definitely understand, because I've done the work. Like, we have a marriage coach that is like brilliant. He's a musician as well, but he's like, he like that kind of situation you're just talking about. There's ways to diffuse that or have dialogue where you can still go down and get shit-faced in your basement, but your wife can walk away feeling happy and heard, right? And I'm not going to get too deep into this but I like the science of it, actually, and I like the fact that we all have triggers, and you're just trying to keep your partner in care. This our coach says one thing in this documentary that's gold. It's worth the price of admission. It's called CPR, so it's catch, pause, and repair, right? So in that instance, that's what you're trying to do. The point is, I don't mind doing what we were doing in Instagram in private. I just don't want to make my thing about, hey, Raine is now trying to be this marriage guru. I'm not. I just do the work like a lot of people do, and I don't think that is the way I want to kind of build an audience, if that makes sense. If it has music and art around it, yeah, perfect.
That's fair.
That's
I was going to ask you, what's the divide? Yeah. What's the divide between that, Raine?
It has to have some artistic like quality to it. And so if we can infuse that, there was a couple we did when we talked about we were just trying to write we're trying to make a new record, or we're writing, and so that becomes the catalyst for I called you a shithead, and why did I do that? And that's fine because it was based around music. But if it's just like kind of what you were saying, Lachlan, in terms of your wife has a headache and getting into the granular of why she wants to describe it for an hour, that's a whole different thing. I don't need it. It doesn't need to be on Instagram for me.
Well, and that was the point of it too. And I get what you're saying is that, and Danko touched on it yesterday. We had Danko Jones on the podcast. He said to say hi to you, and he'll see you in Edmonton for the tour.
Love
but
Danko.
Together again Sunday, August 29th.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. He was
tickets.
Great yesterday.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. But we were talking about that yesterday, where he was opening up and talking about this very thing, which is, dealing with what he went through with the pandemic and coming to a realization in life that you might not have all the answers and you might not be the person that you are. He didn't feel like he needed to work that out on social media in tandem to be able to promote his new tune, project, or tour. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's really the cheapest form of clickbait, is using, your personal stuff and using it, like intentionally using it, which it sounds like. And that was my question, where it sounded like your team said, what are you doing? That gets great engagement, great views, great clicks. People love it. And you're like, no, man, I'm not using my personal development as a tool to be able to market a record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And anyone that's seen our documentary understands, like, I kind of gave it up there. Like, I showed more than I would have 5 months ago, really. Like, for the good of the project, it was like, this all makes sense, because it's really about how did these two people get to these songs? And there was a lot of conflict, and there was a lot of bullshit we had to go through and heartache to get there, but they're tied into each other. If it's just that alone without the music, that's where I kind of like that, that's what I'm getting to. I have a tough time trying to just leverage that, like you said, to build followings and stuff.
There's still has to
it's
be
a part of your personality, though. Like, I remember interviewing. Do you remember when we met, Raine? Do you remember meeting? It was in Detroit.
Oh, really?
It was in 1997, 98. Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't at the Edge then.
No, I was at 89X, which is no longer, as a matter of fact.
I know.
They just pulled the pin on that.
Yeah, they did. So you had just gotten married, like, very privately, very secretly. And you guys are doing like an up-close, personal, interactive thing. I don't know if you remember this. It was in Detroit. It was myself and my female co-host. And I've got a question to ask you. And I said, hey, Raine, you just got married. What's that like? And you're like, big breath. I like to keep that stuff personal and quiet.
Oh,
and
really? Yeah.
And this is being recorded and it's live, and the sweat starts pouring. And I am instantly on fire with nervousness and anxiety. I didn't ask one more question. I had like 10 more. God. I'm like, fuck, Kelly, you answer the questions. I just got embarrassed. My point is that it was and we've had lots of great conversations since then, and I could care less. But I'm bringing this up because of the dichotomy of the person that records a documentary fighting with his wife.
Yeah. It took 20 years, man.
Dude, what happened? That's my question.
It literally took me 20 years to, I would say it, like, to come out of my shell. I've always been much more insular and much more private. But again, I would never have made a documentary just on marriage. It was all about the music. And so that's always the conduit for me. And so that's the only way I end up going there again. And look, Chantel is like, she's brilliant in the sense of she loves that part of it. Like I said, there is a science to, like, the way we interact with, it's just the way we collaborate and the way we dialogue, whether it's business or personal or even something as intimate as a marriage. And Chantel's great at it. It's just not something I want to do all the time. Does that make sense? Like, I get up and I grab a guitar. I don't get on a Zoom and try to fix someone's life. And so I also feel like there's a thing of that. If there's enough of a reason or an experience that someone can, like, see themselves in. And I think that's why our documentary worked, because everyone's like, oh, I really relate to Raine when he says that stuff or when he's cold. And people saw themselves in Chantel. And the best thing I took away from that was that it normalizes relationships for people. That was a couple comments I heard from some people. And I was like, okay, getting into it too much deeper. It's just, first of all, I'm not an expert, right? I'm just another person doing this shit and trying to make my way through.
Yeah, but you are. You know what I think is interesting? And I'm wondering if you feel like we might be losing this a little bit. There is still a sense with some of the guys that have been doing this a long time that they're trying to hang on to the integrity of being an artist, right? Like everything that you're talking about is sort of steeped in sort of this traditional idea of being an artist and it coming from the right place. Are artists coming up nowadays? Do they have the same sort
funny.
of
Intentionality. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah. I mean, they don't even understand it. Like, like you're wearing a Zeppelin shirt, right? We opened for Page and Plant way back in the day. The first time I met Robert Plant was in Chicago, and he came up to me and introduced himself. And I was like, I didn't know anything about this guy except seeing him with his shirt off in like a Black Dog video and whatever my mind could kind of conjure up of what he was like or what these lyrics meant, or from like listening to, you know, older brothers on my street where I grew up in Etobicoke, listening to those records. So now when you meet someone, I know what they ate for lunch. Like, it sucks. And so I think the problem is like young artists just don't, they just give it all up, and there's no, not that you're trying to build a mystery, but fuck, I don't want to know everything. Like you know, it's kind of like music videos. I always had this problem with making music videos because it put like a stamp on what this song's about, where it's like before the video, it was anything. I could make it be anything I wanted, and I didn't have something else interjecting and saying, no, it's about this. So we've gone so far past that. I don't think there's any coming back. There is for some artists. Some artists are intentional, where I don't know much about them. Like, I don't really know much about like Frank Ocean. There's some cool artists that probably understand that it's, you know what, I'm not going to engage on those levels, and that I dig that for sure. But for the most
Raine,
part,
let me ask you a question, Raine. To that point, does the rock star exist anymore amongst? I mean, it seems to exist amongst all the bands that have already broke. But does the rock star exist anymore because everyone's giving up everything? The mystique is gone because it's really, as you said, like no one really saw you on social doing any of this stuff forever. It was like you go see Our Lady Peace, it's like there's the band, and then they leave, and then that's all you know. And now everyone knows everything about every single artist. But I grew up not knowing anything about any of the artists other than what the magazines would tell you in interviews, and breaking down all these different how the albums were made, and all that to me was like the access into the artist, is them breaking down how they made each track. But there seems to be a mystique gone now because it's we're at the merch table signing autographs. Oh, we're doing this because all these bands have to do this to kind of keep engaging their fans and get them in there. But now everyone seems to have access to everyone all the time. And it just seems really, especially like for podcasting, like Dean, podcasting, you reach out to somebody and they're like, yeah, I'll come on your show. Before there was like 5 levels to get to an artist. Now you can reach out directly to them and get them. And I'm just wondering if that's affecting, the future right now.
Well, that didn't happen. Just to be clear, like that, like Dean had to go through 4 different levels to get to me.
It's true.
Just so we're clear there. Just so clear.
It's true. And the last one was Chantel, and she was surprisingly just totally cool about
it. And then she put a note in that shoebox. And then Raine dialed in.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that note says.
Gotta go.
You know what, Brent? I think you're right. And I think the key thing is that even if it is a mystery, it's a manufactured thing now, because it's not done just by virtue of you're just able to be an artist and that's your path and you're just focused on that 100%. There's no way. You're thinking about it now. So I was actually I was probably wrong even about a guy like Frank Ocean. It's like, he's doing that on purpose because he understands that the mystery is cool and doesn't want to show people what he ate for lunch, but it's all manufactured.
But it wasn't it always though, Raine? I mean, even back in the day, like I think of bands like Tool and Maynard and he created that whole thing. And
let Zeppelin for a show. Yeah.
Yeah. Zeppelin leaned in on it. Queen did. I mean, everybody sort of created this mystique, and whether or not it was deliberate or it created a life of its own, they kind of flamed the fans, flamed the fire a bit.
But yeah, I think the key thing that I notice is like artists you're allowed to just be an artist. And that's the problem now. Because literally, I mean, look, I love all you guys. I've known you guys forever. I'm happy to do this podcast because of where we are in culture. 10 years ago, I would have been like, nah, I don't need to go talk about other things besides, like, maybe if it was just about the album coming out, sure. Now we're just shooting the shit, and I think that's just a product of where culture's taken everyone. And my point is, like, an artist really doesn't have the ability anymore just to be an artist 24/7. Like, those days are gone. And even and part of that was like, yeah, you're going to try to like a Maynard or some of the other guys you were referencing. Like, yeah, they were able to create these personas or different things. Bowie was great at it, but at the end of the day, it was all just around the art. Thing is, now it's not just around art. It's about showing every part of you, right? It's like, it's so intrusive.
Well, and that came first, though, too, Raine. Like you came first as an artist, and then now you're being asked to go back, catch up in time, and do the other things. The other things came first for a lot of the people that we're seeing as musicians today. And
Right.
to Brent's point, when I don't remember a rock band being born in the internet age, a really good seminal rock band born on TikTok or Twitter. Do you? I mean, lots of hip hop, lots of auto tune, all that stuff. But like, it's a different bag of fish or different bag of chips when you're talking about, you know, how people arrived at this
So much
career
more
of being
disposable.
a professional musician. Yeah. big time.
Well, yeah, I think that there's a point that's really like even deeper in that, is like, that's probably why there isn't, you know, a lot of great new rock music either, because it's way harder to be a rock band these days. It's like, because you have all these, you know, it's mostly individuals, like single solo artists that are really doing well, because it's just so much easier because you have control of it. Even as a band, like, I really don't give a shit about Instagram. I do it because I have to. And sometimes it's cool because I interact, but I even found myself the other day saying to like the other guys, it's like, we have a new video drop and you guys aren't posting. What the fuck? You know, I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth. I want to throw up, swallow it. But that's like where I've been like led to, right? It's crazy. It's insane.
No, but that's standard operating procedure. By the way, the new video drops on Thursday, and here's a super catchy. I fucking love it. Like I was jamming out to it on Alexa before, because I put it on my thing, and I was jamming out to it. I'm like, it's such a different sound. Like, it's a very different Our Lady Peace sound, but it's still got the Our Lady Peace bones. It's very different. And
like
performing
that.
with Pussy Riot was tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
What was on the roof, Raine, you were looking up?
Say that again?
What was on the roof? You were looking up a lot at the end there.
I think he was being thoughtful.
Yeah, I was just thinking. No, because what you said about it has the Lady Peace bones, like that is interesting, because we definitely set out. We got to work with Dave Siddick, who is in this. He's in this seminal kind of like new future rock band called TV on the Radio that came out in like 2003 or something. But they really changed what rock music could be, because it's a really diverse band, so many different instruments, programming with real drums, with, you know, Tunde is like the Black Bowie. He's just this incredible personality and singer and lyric writer, and the way they just approached arrangements and all the different textures and stuff was brilliant. One of my favorite bands of all time. Anyway, so Dave was like one of the masterminds in TV on the Radio, and when we had a demo of the song, we sent it to Dave. I was like, the only guy that's going to do anything with this and make it better is Dave Siddick, and I felt like, you know, there's no way he's going to work with LP, but let's send him the song. Sent it to him. He said no right away. And so I said to my manager, I was like, you know what? I totally get it. Just make sure he's actually heard the title of the song and listened to the demo. And my manager, Eric, was like, I'm sure he has. He said no. It's like, just trust me. So he went back to Dave's manager. And so a day later, we got a call. And he says, you know what? He hadn't listened to it. He's just really busy. Kind of his default now is I'm not doing anything until Christmas, but he actually, I had him listen to it, and he wants to know if I can go up to his house and hang with him. So he lives in Glendale here in LA. So I went and hung with him, and the whole thing of like future rock became this premise of like, we don't want to do what we've done before. We want to like really push the boundaries, but we need to keep the bones of what we are, like you said, Dean, and that was really important. And he kind of agreed with all that. So this album, I know this is just a taste of the album, but it is our best album since Clumsy, for sure, and maybe like our best album ever. It's just I'm so blown away by where we're able to get as a band, and a lot of it comes from Dave, because we have 100% confidence and trust, and he just took us to different places where the bones are there. Like, he's smart, he kept the bones, but it is like the future, because rock music, like for me to hear rock drums, I'm just like, I can't do it, man. I can't just go down that road again where it just sounds like cliche and it's been done a million times. So thank God for Mr. Siddick.
Well, and then and it leads me to my next question. And obviously, bands evolve. We're going through Danko's history. His band's changed, band members changed. First record without Jeremy, in probably in a long period of time, right? Was it different vibe? How was it?
Yeah, I mean, everything was different. Dave is like, you walk into his studio and he's got this wall. I don't know if you guys know what like modular synthesizers are. It's like you plug in instead of playing keys, you're plugging in stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Like I get it and appreciate it, but I can never do it. So you're starting from a place that's uncomfortable, It's like we had the song, we have the basics. OLP is always smart in the sense we have the basics of these songs, whether I write something on acoustic or we jam something out and do a demo of it. But then the next step for us has always been how does it get reinterpreted? How do we sit with someone on a collaborative level where it's like, hey, you just blew my fucking mind. Like what you just did to this song, I could never have thought of. Duncan couldn't have thought of. Steve wouldn't have. It's like, holy shit. You want to be able to say, well, thank you. Because that's what you want, right? And Dave's been the first guy where it's like, whoa, not only did you do something different, it's like, I felt like he just saved us in a way. I mean, that's probably dramatic, but I honestly feel like when people hear this record, they're either going to hate it or they're going to love it. But for us as a unit, it's like this guy just saved us, because now the future is like, wow, we can do anything. Where we've gone to on this record is just like it's incredible.
Raine, did you have to give yourself over to that then, because you guys have produced the last couple of albums? I think you guys have done yourself, correct?
Yeah,
you guys have produced a lot of it yourself, so you had to give yourself over again after. And the last experience you had to give yourself over, it wasn't as positive, if I remember. So
yeah, the thing is, yeah, it's such a great question, because I was able to just be a singer, which is amazing. Like because of COVID a little bit, like we were working with Dave and going up to his studio in Glendale for a while, and then COVID hit, so we kind of stopped. So it really would work with, if we had a demo or something, I would just send it to Dave. He would work on the track, use some of the stuff that like the guys in the band did, re-record some things, but he would ultimately just send me this piece of music back. And I would I'm in my studio, and I would put it on, and honest to God, every time I would go, oh my God, I can't wait to sing this song, So that is like a rare. I don't remember that happening until I go back to like Naveed, basically. So the fact that I was not having to like engineer, produce, get into like the minutia of like, hey Steve, let's EQ the guitar here, and like I don't care about that stuff. I just want to be an art. It really goes back to what we were talking about before. How can I just get back to being an artist? And every artist, it's another layer of like, okay, I got to do my Instagram. I got to be on Facebook today. I got to tweet some shit. As most artists will tell you as well, and even Danko, it's like, also I got to learn Pro Tools. I got to know how to engineer. I got to know how to record myself. All this other stuff. It's like, shit, what happened to the day where I can just get in front of a mic and sing? And so that's lost as well. With this record, I was able to do that. I was literally, I'd open up the track, I'd be like, oh my God, my mic's over here. And I would just stand up and sing. And I was like, this is amazing. Wow, this is cool. I'm an artist again.
Raine, what did you have for lunch? Sorry, I had to. Seemed like the right time.
It's fucking
I will
lunch.
never ever post a restaurant on my Instagram feed.
Just to be a dick about the whole thing. I love it. I do.
Do you think COVID had a role in this change? Because it sounds like something's happened. Like you've gone through. I mean, a metamorphosis might be a bit of a stretch, but you've reevaluated where you're at, Raine.
Yeah. It's probably, when you have time to think, and that's the other thing. I think we don't have time to think as much anymore because we're just on our mobile devices and binging shows and talking to people on text and shit. It's like, I always tell my kids, it's like, put down your phone for like 3 hours and go think about your life. Like, cause you guys don't get the chance to do that anymore. I don't think we do either. It's like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. So COVID's allowed me to do that. And I realize that in the sense, I don't want to belabor this, but you guys probably feel this. I only listened to old music during COVID. I didn't discover new artists. If artists that I like put out new records, I couldn't give a shit. I binged all the new shows and movies and stuff, but music, it was like I went back to the safe place. So I'd listen to like Neil Young records and old Springsteen, like Nebraska. I would listen to like
Great
you know
record.
Buckley Grace, like I things that Soundgarden, Super Unknown, like seminal records in my life that where it's just like, okay, I feel comfort, I feel safety here. And so with that, I think you become open, right? Just spiritually, physically, in terms of like, okay, what is important to me again? And yeah, being an artist on all those different levels became really, really important. And the timing was just perfect because we were already working with Dave. And like I said, he took the burden of me ever having to engineer or get a guitar sound or mix. Like that was all gone. I just had to think about, hey, make sure the song's good and sing your ass off.
It's I hear some of what you're saying in terms of the evolution of going from being an artist, showing up and singing and songwriting, and everybody else is taking care of the marketing and the tweets and everything else and the Pro Tools. And I was listening to you and I was thinking in terms of what we're doing, and I used to show up to the radio station to a big full pot of coffee.
Right, just walk in.
Full pot of coffee. Yeah, walk in like a wheel.
Chest out.
Big pot of coffee. Yeah. What are we talking about today? My wiener? We're talking about my wiener and some farts again. Let's do this. And then I would do that for 4 hours, and I would literally walk out, and someone would bring my car up, and I would leave. From that guy to this guy that has to do everything from book the guests to make the arrangements, to the graphics, to the theme music, to prepping on all the podcasts, and then taking care of the network and all the other stuff. I sometimes get caught wondering if has age made me look at the way that we have to operate as an inconvenience, or is this just the new reality, right? Like, is this the new reality that we live in? Because I feel like I'm a better person for it, because what it's done is having to do all of these things, like you're doing all these things or had to do all these things in the past as things have changed, is it removes this sense of entitlement that you developed over the years as being that artist or being that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool debate, because I would ask you, like, if you didn't have to do all other stuff, would your show be better? Like, could you have any prep for this interview better if you didn't have to worry about like the tech of it and reaching out to me? And I think that really means a lot to artists, because it's bandwidth, right? If you, I don't produce as much as I used to, and work with younger artists, but I would always have artists come in here, and the first thing they do is like sit down on the couch and open up their laptop or get on their phone and like start, on socials and stuff. I'm like, I thought we were writing a song today. Like, what's happening here? And so if you're able to not do that, or you don't have to, are you a better artist? And has like music suffered from that? Is music not as good because it's made so quickly and without like the same intention as it was years ago? I sound old by saying that, but I think about that a lot. And I just went through it myself. And I think this record essentially is so much better because everything slowed down and we could just be artists again.
Yeah.
Not to mention when the album comes out, Raine, and not to mention if you're that excited about the record, you think it's the best thing you've ever done, how that's going to change the live show, because you've probably had a relatively, I don't want to say the same formula, but
I mean, live show, we just phone it in. So I don't think that's going to change a lot.
Well, let's talk about that, because you're back on the road. Obviously, things have cleared up to the point where you can entertain the idea of touring. You've got Burles Creek Saturday, August the 14th in Oro Medonte, Canada. Then together again in Edmonton with Danko and Royal Tusk, which I'll be at on the 29th.
I'm Mother Earth.
And then September, I'm Mother Earth is there. Yeah.
Yep.
Pardon me. In Truro, Nova Scotia, Rock the Hub. You can get all your tickets if you go to ourladypeace.com/tour. But as someone who's been pretty mindful, and you're a really thoughtful cat, you go through this experience of not playing, not working for a while. Are you worried about touring? Is there like a nervous factor in there? Who's vaccinated, who isn't? Do you guys have rules? Like, how is this whole thing going to work? And do you have like a mandate that you give or you get from people now that you're touring in the age of the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I have no idea. I literally, like, my tour manager puts the flight time on my Google Calendar and the show date, and I kind of, show up. So I don't know. I haven't been back to Canada in like 17 months. So it's different down here. Like Chantal and I are playing a show in LA on August 5th. It's like sold out, completely full club, like no masks. So I heard Burroughs Creek is like pods, which I'm like, I don't know what that means really. Hopefully, I guess I'm kind of like deflecting where I hope by the time those shows come, because they're whatever 5 or 6 weeks away, that Canada is like fully open and there's no masks and enough people are vaccinated. I don't have to worry about it. I didn't like the drive-in shows. I started a live streaming platform at the beginning of COVID, just basically because I'm in tech and I have my partner, is a coding genius, and we put something up in like 3 weeks called Juju Live and did well and like made money for art. I can't do it. Like I can't do it. So it's one of those things where I would say this, like if live doesn't get back to where it once was, I'm not sure how it exists for me personally. Like that idea of a shared experience, bodies tight together, people really feeling that this one entity. If it's anything different than that, man, then I'll wait. And that means like 3 years, 4 years. So I think, sorry, going back to your point, like this next like 3 months is a bit of an experiment. I'm going to go with it and see how it happens. But ultimately and it's because I will say this, because of COVID, like you think back, like we did Somersault right before COVID started basically. And it was like amazing. And so if it's anything less than that, I mean, I appreciate it so much now because we haven't been able to play live for 17 months. But if it's lesser, I'm not sure it works for me.
Did you finish the Bush live tours? Did you finish all those dates? Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, but that's a huge statement coming from you, right? I mean, like you are a performing band. You're in Our Lady Peace. It's a professional, big time band, and that's how you make money. It's one of the ways that you make money, and to say that after not.
Okay, I didn't think about that part. Sorry, let me go back. I will do whatever they want.
yeah. There's a time when I might too, but like that's a pretty big statement. Like that's a big statement to say. Listen, if I'm not sure, I don't know. When that's your job, that's your livelihood, and that's your career. That's a
we'll get there.
Heavy statement.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
I feel the momentum building, and I feel like we're gonna have this renaissance of art and Christ. I mean, I'm drinking a Bud Light right now, and I went to a Van Gogh thing last night with my wife just to see something and feel something, right? I think. But
I wonder how many people feel like Raine. Like, do you talk to other cats that are like, hey, yeah, we're gonna go out on the road. We might play a couple shows. We're just gonna see where sleeping dogs lie. Like,
I think everyone's so excited to do it that they're not, they're just excited to go try it. But I mean, I was really hard on it. Like I said, that live streaming thing, I was like, I hope this works. And I tried. Like I actually built a site and did a bunch of shows. I can't do it, man. It's not for me. Maybe some artists are fine and they don't mind that experience. Again, seeing those that we ought to offer some of those drive-in shows where people are sitting in their cars and honking horns, like fucking kill me. I'm not doing that. And so this is just another level where I hear about Burroughs Creek as a pod. I'm hoping it's not by the time we get there. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it. But the idea of playing to pods of people, I don't know, man. It irks me.
Let me put you at ease about that, Raine. Let me put you at ease because I talked to Zeke Myers, who's helping put the event on, and these pods are like sectioned off areas for like a whole carload of people that arrived in the same car. So that's the thing. It's going to be wide open like a band. It's just they're going to be like, instead of people jammed together, it's people jammed a little less together in little sections so that you can actually see the show. But that's where everybody's staying apparently. So, but I guess
Raine,
it's the same way.
You'd like to go in the crowd.
We perform. Yeah,
I do. Like I don't want to run through a crowd and be like, "Holy shit, there's all this room! Like I can go anywhere." Like that's no fun.
Yeah, stage diving would hurt.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing.
The Our Lady
stage diving.
Yeah.
The Our Lady Peace pod experience. Raine's just going to run each pod.
I just have one last question for you, Raine. I know we've covered some heavy stuff, but I have a bit of a problem with you, and I wanted to air it in public. I wanted to air it in front of everybody. Saw this still picture of you in the new video for Stop Making Stupid People Famous. You look great. I like the duster. The mustache looks phenomenal.
Everyone, yeah, I mean that's funny. Everyone says that. It's not, yeah.
Yeah. No, you look like you look like a private eye in the 70s or something.
You look like somebody who's going to ask me for a smoke when I come out of the liquor store.
I wish. You know, I wish smoking. If smoking was cool and I didn't have asthma, I would absolutely smoke.
Well, and I looked at this picture. I'm like, fucking guy doesn't age. So I went back like 25 years and I grabbed this picture, and it's a fact, dude. You haven't aged. You look exactly the fucking same as you did the day I met you 25 years ago.
That's not true, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it's lighting, you know, it's all that shit.
No, dude, are you are you vegan? Do you what kind of cream routine do you have? Tell me about the creams.
Well, Dean, I do use a serum if you'd like to know, and
please.
It works well. I do. I actually use it. Look, talk about getting meta, man. I don't know why, but my wife, again, who I absolutely love, you can hear me, babe. She introduced it as some serum, and I live by it. It's just you put it on at night. It's pretty cool. There you go. Holy shit! Interview's over.
Yep. What is it? Now. Come on, skill. He doesn't know the name.
Because what is it, dude? Know. Look at you now. This is you 25 years ago, and look at you now. You're the fucking same. The serum works.
I'll tell you this. How I know I'm old. I can't read the bottle, so I don't know what who makes it. So I have
That's I can't. I was trying to cook something the other day, and I'm like, I can't read it.
Oh my god, my kids are sick, and they have prescriptions. They're like, how many? Just take 2. I think you just take 2. No idea. I'm like, I can't read it. I have that app where it's a flashlight that like magnifies it.
Dude, okay, here's a question for everybody, because we're all over 45. How big is the font on your phone?
I haven't done that yet. I need to. Everything's just fuzzy. And I was actually the other day, I was like, this is kind of a bummer. There's a friend of mine who's actually young and had to get glasses. He's like, yeah, the world, everything was just always fuzzy, and now it's just so much better. And so I felt that the other day. Remember that Robbins movie? Everything's out of focus. I'm like, shit. I think everything's out of focus. This kind of sucks. Should I do it? I have glasses. I just don't wear them.
Yeah. It's because we're dudes. At least you moisturize. Raine made it from Our Lady Peace.
That's awesome. That's my takeaway.
Our Lady Peace.
Raine moisturizes.
I fucking love it. He does it, but he doesn't know what's in it because he can't read the label.
It's the only advice I have. Find a good serum.
Moisturize. But listen, it was great to catch up with you, and I intentionally left the guy that we kicked off the last podcast, who's one of our co-hosts, off, because if you remember, he was high as fuck the last time we podcasted, and we had to kick him off.
On mushrooms.
Yeah.
Was that the election one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah.
He was high on shrooms, so we let him go. But he's cool now. Anyway, listen, dude, really appreciate you being here.
No.
No. We just kicked him off the podcast.
It's hard to fire somebody when you're not paying them.
This is true.
Dean's saving money to buy the fucking serum. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I really appreciate you taking time with us today, and continued success. Love the record, love the album, love the song. Can't wait to hear the rest of it. It's called Stop Making Stupid People Famous. We played a clip. Do want to remind everybody, because Raine gets a little cheesed when you don't, that the video drops tomorrow. We are going to promote the shit out of it too, just so you know, so that you and I are still cool.
We from the band and everyone, we appreciate you guys. So thanks for having me. Always, anytime, you guys. This is fun, man. These are the good part of my days when we get to talk like this.
Yeah, very me cool. Too. And good luck with the marriage after you hang up.
And by promoting the shit out of it, we've gone through the 4 channels it takes to get to Raine, and we've booked them on 7 more podcasts on the network. After this, so.
Buddy, you go to have a good day and great time with your family. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck with the record, Raine.
Take care.
Yeah.
There you go. Raine Maida, ladies and gentlemen, from the band Our Lady Peace. New album is coming out. The new song is called Stop Making Stupid People Famous, and it's really, really, really fucking good. If you get a chance to listen to it.
I'd only heard a teaser of the song so far.
It's awesome.
That's it. Yeah. So I did not know that the full song was out. I got to go listen to it.
Not
It's
only
really
that,
good.
but
Here's
it's a headphone song, big
Is it?
time,
Okay.
loaded.
what do you mean it's a headphone song? What does that?
It's
mean?
just there's so many layers. There's so many layers to the song that
It's
that
like-
you listen to it and had. Yeah, it's
Wait.
great.
You can put Clash on the stereo. You put
Mhm.
Pink Floyd on the headphones. Fair?
I didn't know
Brent?
that.
I think
didn't
they're
know
two
that.
different recording processes. So yeah, probably. But Raine's always been sonically there. I think he's made a pretty conscious effort to have those records been and you can hear it in the new song big time in the headphones. So.
It's
Have you heard the
interesting.
new song yet, Locke? Are you guys playing the new song at Cruise?
No. Honestly, I swear to God, I heard a clip of it last week.
Oh, it's so good.
And I did not know that the whole thing was out. I knew that there was a video coming, but I did not know that the whole song was available. So I will have to go find it. I got a notice in my email that there was a song coming, but it was like one of those, it's not ready yet kind of thing. And then it just escaped me. I should have went and listened today because I knew he had a new record coming down and I knew we were chatting with him today.
Well, you should have,
So,
but you didn't. So
I
that's
dropped
okay.
the ball big time.
Yeah, I bet.
It's a great
But-
summer song. Great summer song and a nice.
If you listen to it, and
I'm gonna play it on the
I'm
show.
glad that he identified with what I said was Our Lady Peace Bones through and through the whole tune. Pussy Riot's on it too, which is really cool. But Our Lady
That's why
Peace
he's
Bones
getting
through and through
press
the
right now
song,
too. The Pussy Riot thing's a huge, like whatever he did
Yeah, they're a
there.
big band.
That's brilliant.
socially.
Yeah.
But the song itself, it's like when I had to listen to it 3 or 4 times because it's void of those Our Lady Peace big beats, big riffs, right? Like it's rock, but it's a different kind of rock. And
It's
when
funny.
you listen to it over and over, it's accessible. You like it. You're like, fuck, this is really good. And a big chance for a band like that to take, right? Because they know where their sweet spot is. Our Lady Peace, they do that kind of music. You know what an Our Lady Peace song is. This is not a traditional Our Lady Peace song. So the dude deserves a ton of credit. A lot of courage to do something totally different.
You know, it's
Totally.
interesting
Not only
for me because when I think of Our Lady Peace, I know he sort of mentioned that if I have to sit there and have another conversation about rock drums, right? I'm gonna lose it, right? It's interesting to hear him say that because that's Our Lady Peace for me. That that sort of rock drum thing carried that band for years. I mean, definitely through Naveed and definitely through the late 90s, early 2000s. It was driven by Jeremy, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not taking away anything from what the rest of the band, the songwriting, the any of that, all was there. They have success because of the group itself, but there are times where a member will drive a band. Like, as much as I can't stand the fact that Robert Plant never toured again, and Led Zeppelin like drives me crazy because it's one of my favorite bands, and I never did get to see that band live. So to this day I hate Robert Plant, but he has a point. Plant has said countless times, Bonham drove that band. He was the backbone of that. Of the success of Led Zeppelin, and it's hard to suggest that the drummer has that much, but it was for me. That was a thing for me for Our Lady Peace, not as significant as John Bonham, but that presence of Jeremy in that band was important to the success of what they did at rock, in my opinion.
Brent?
Well, I think, and too with this band, they've really challenged their fans the whole time. So for me, the second they could get away from the big riff, big rock song per se, they did. And they've always challenged their fans to come along with them for the ride from the standpoint of like, Buck Cherry's never going to get away with writing like, an intricate kind of like synthesized kind of trippy record. Their fans want, cocaine and beer and big tits, and that's what they want.
Crazy bitch.
Our Lady Peace were that band that have been always challenging their fans to this is where we're going with it. The second they could take it in a completely different direction, they have. But to your point, Dean, they've kept the bones in this, and I think that the fans itself have been along for these changes. They've slowly been introducing them. Still rock band. Their last 3 records, have all like that I've listened to, that they produce themselves, have all kept that.
They're rock records.
They got the big rock. They got the big rock song, but there's a ton of experimentation on on those albums. That the deep cuts that I personally like to listen to on records, like the deep tracks, and they've always pushed their fans to stay, hey, this is us, but this is also us. And I think that this new song is that amalgamation of like, that was us, this is us now. And I don't think you're going to have anybody jump off of it. I think everyone's going to be like, yeah, this is great. It's a really
and listen, I got to tell you,
as soon as you played
it is
15 seconds,
but it's incredibly different when you take a guy out of a band that's been in that band for a long period of time, and he took himself out of the band. And I know Jeremy, and we haven't spoken for a long time because we both acted like assholes, so we don't talk. It's been a long time. Not even worth getting into it. And it was a tough question for me to ask him. If you noticed, when I asked him, he talked about, the different direction. He didn't really address it, and it doesn't need to be addressed as to why or what, because it doesn't matter. Like evolution's evolution, people evolve, but it's like a morning show log. Let me explain it to you. You take a really important key figure out of a morning show or out of a television show, and you replace them with someone else. You don't want that person that comes in to do what that other person did, right? You can't. It changes it indelibly. So the fact that they reimagined and re-envisioned, and then now this sound gives them, I think, two things. It gives them the ability to continue playing music. He talked about them saving the band, and I think that's what it was. I think it was like, okay, listen, when I lost Todd off the morning show, it changed. It changed implicitly, and not for the better, because it was uncomfortable. It was weird. The comfort level that we had was gone. The entertainment value was gone. And so, you had to do something completely different, totally different. And I think that's kind of why we got that record. And I love it. That's the thing, is that, a lot of people will get to the point, and I'm surprised that, and I think he kind of mentioned it, but you get to the point when you're successful at something where you want to repeat that success, you tend to reach back for what made you successful and see if it still works, right? It's not the case anymore.
No, they've
never.
That's
why I love the fact that he embraced this new method. What? Sorry,
totally. And not only that, Dean, but to that point, there's like I've toured with them over the years, and there's songs that he doesn't want to play live that the fans would kill to hear, but he's just like, I'm not going there. And I think that creates the mystique that we've been talking about. It's sort of like if you do it your way, if you don't give the fans everything, even though they want everything, Our Lady Peace are like Pearl Jam in that way, where it's like, no, you're going to come see what we're going to give you, not versus what you necessarily want to hear. And a lot of fans have a hard time with that. They want to go and hear the hits. They want to do everything. But Our Lady Peace have always been, to me, at least of all the shows that I saw them play over the years and all the stuff that I've done, that like live, it's undeniable, but they always have challenged their fans. And if you've been along this time and you've accepted that challenge, then you're going to enjoy that ride. And they're about to take you on another one, which is killer. And it's going to echo live even better. I have a
question too. You go first, Locke. I'll go second, because I won't.
Okay. I can't shake something that you brought up earlier in the pod. So, and I'm not sure if I should be making this connection at all, but did Todd leave because you made him bring his car up every day? Your car up every day?
No, Sean left because I made him bring my car up every day.
Man.
And Matt. Matt left for that reason too. And Jason. And Carrie.
You're such a cock.
Oh, I was such a dick. But that's why I brought it up.
I realized, you know what? Honestly, when you brought it up, I was like, I can't bring this up now, but I'm fucking hanging on to this. You had somebody bring your fucking car up? You're such a dick. Oh,
I was the worst. Well, it didn't start like that. Like when you started in radio, someone pays you some money, and then every year you do better, and they pay you more money, and then you buy cars, and then you start getting a little lax with what time you get to work. So you pull up to the front of the studio and you tell the intern to go park your car. And then that's a pretty good experience. So what you do is after the show, you go, hey, you still got my keys? And they're like, yeah. And then they bring your car up, but not before they filled me with water and coffee and went to the Loblaws to go get me a bean salad every morning while I was on the air. That was literally how I lived, and it's completely unsustainable, and I know that, right? Like it's not. At some, like I'm like, I used to think to myself, you get to go get Dean Blundell's car. Good for you.
Who starts that though, Dean? Did you have to do that for somebody, and then you just carried it over as you?
No,
were
I never did that for anybody.
Oh.
But I remember, and this is how I got the idea. Derringer, who I worked with, John Derringer, wonderful guy. Some people don't like him. I think he's a good dude. He's always been nice to me.
Speaking of cocks,
so I love him. I love everybody.
You had somebody bring your car up every day. No wonder you love them.
I loved them too because it was easy for me to go home. It was just you walk out the door and Marlo too. He used to bring the car up. So Marlo would throw you the keys and you're like, see ya. Not a thank you. Not a see you tomorrow. Great job today. Now which is weird. Now I understand the value
of gratitude.
Of actually being being kind to people. And two simple words, thank and you. They go so far. It's amazing how far they go, right?
Can I make a point on that?
And here's the thing. I used to think
on tomorrow's podcast,
normal.
Todd.
Can I make a point of that?
That's going to happen. Yeah,
Todd's not coming on.
I don't think so.
Gratitude. I have to say, Locke, I never got a chance to say this to you before, but when you post a lot of videos of you getting Jimmy around and doing things. Yeah, so just from a personal standpoint, I got to say that makes me smile. That's like a bright part of my day. Cause I'm like, it's just a good thing. I like how you get him around. You're taking care of him. You're looking, you're taking him out and doing stuff. It's a good
kid. And I owe him a lot because
hold it.
Face of our show. He is. And he makes dog food fucking wages.
Does you ever make him get your car?
For sure. For sure he does.
I'm also very hard on Jimmy, though.
Let me back up. Jimmy is a little person, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm telling everybody how terrible I was as a human being and all that other stuff. You're holding yourself up like you're the bastion of kindness and you're never mean to people on the show. Jimmy is a little person. Jimmy also has access to something called a handicap parking sticker. Now, because he's a little person. Now, what's interesting about this is Lachlan drives Jimmy around all the time. And I believe we're finding out why he likes doing that. It's because he grabs the sticker and he can put it in the front seat of his car and he can park anywhere he wants as long as he's got Jimmy. It's like an HOV hack. It's like a high occupancy vehicle lane hack.
Correction.
But he's done it with parking. Now he can park anywhere he wants.
Okay, correction.
That's a fact.
This little overweight prick has never gotten the fucking handicap sticker. And I have berated him for years to get it because all he has to do is fucking walk into the fucking government building and go, hey, guess what? I got a shunt, a limp, and I'm a little person. I need a handicap sticker, and they'll give it to him. And guess what I get to put on the Subaru? A handicap sticker, and guess I'm parking like a rock star now. He won't do it. He's too proud.
I was just about to ask
him for months about that.
I was just about to
ask. Oh, you really like this has been a thing?
Dude.
This has been a thing because dude, I'm making fun of you and taking a guess that's why you drive him around. But if you're not doing that, it is a crying shame.
He won't get it. He won't get it. I berate him about once every 2-3 months. I berate him about not getting a handicap.
To it.
This is it.
He's allowed to have it.
Thank you, Dean. I'm going to give you his number. You call him and tell him that I should get a handicap.
Call him right now. Is he sleeping? Call him right now. Call him right now and put the phone up to
the. I was gonna just say Locke was on his way to full on Larry David mode.
Honestly, this is legit. You have hit a major sore point for me and Jimmy. Yes.
Well, it's selfish of him. If you ask me, like, you're driving him around because you can't drive. I find it incredibly selfish that
we started drinking early today, so he might be drunk already.
Oh, is he too wasted to come on the show?
Wow. We had a good day today, and we kind of got into the beers right after the show. We may have ran a best of for the last hour or two.
I want to leave a message.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll call him back.
Oh, forget it. Well, forget it. No. There's no point.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't want to do it again.
Okay.
So you did that show basically hammered. I couldn't tell. Your face isn't red at all.
What is it with you bringing Raine on and someone's wasted on this show?
I hold on. I controlled myself, didn't I?
I like how you have no idea what happened over the last hour and 15. Wait, I did pretty good, right? I'm not
Here's
that
the
drunk.
thing. I'll tell you something. I mean, I'm very, very intrigued by where people are at, artists in particular are at nowadays. I mean, and we've only got a couple of examples here, but man, that interview we had with Danko, that is hands down yesterday. The pod we did with Danko, that is the best interview I've ever done with Danko. I mean, he opened up. He was more real, and he's pretty fucking real. But he was more real with us yesterday than I've ever seen him. And even Raine today, man, that was
not many rock stars. Not many rock stars will engage in a small domestic dispute with their Uber rock star, songwriting life.
That's
in
just
the middle
real.
of a podcast. That's what
real.
I loved about it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's what I love about these guys. Anyway.
Yeah. I love
okay,
that.
boys.
And that's happened to us a couple of times where the wife comes in and she goes, "Who are you talking to?"
Do you know what I want?
Because it doesn't sound like a traditional radio interview, right?
Right. You got the new record coming out, and I'm wondering if you would tell us a little bit about the writing process.
Yeah.
It'll be good to see them. I can't wait to see them live. I think it's going to be great live.
Are you coming out to the show in August in Edmonton, Brent?
I'm on tour. I'm actually heading out on tour myself. So I go out August 17th. I'm gone. I start in Texas. I'm trying to catch up to Bonzi.
I found out the Dean is sleeping on my couch when he's coming to town in August.
Coming to Edmonton for that show, the Let's All Be Friends show or whatever it's called.
Together again.
Whatever.
I'll be away, but I will give you a report as to what the hell's happening out there at these live shows, because it's going to be way different.
Let's Be Friends. And I'm sleeping in Lachlan's house, and I am committed to scaring the shit out of his wife in the morning with just all this, but with no clothes.
Just
naked.
Full on Dean standing making bacon.
And she's going to go, "Excuse me." I'm going to go, "What's up, Deb?"
Awesome.
All right. That's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM at Edmonton. Give him a listen if you're out that way. He is incredible, the host of The Locker Room. That is Brenton on Tour, at Brenton on Tour on Twitter. The Brenton on Tour Lifecast podcast. You can get wherever you get your fine podcast. And Kids on the Escalator. Kids, are you going tonight? You got a show tonight?
No, we went last night. We had John on last night talking aliens and conspiracies. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
We got fucked over with that whole alien dump. We didn't get much information, did we, Brent?
No, we didn't. We got enough. It's all right. It's all right.
Check it out. Johnny's great. All right. But listen, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate seeing you too.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Talk to you soon. That is Brenton on Tour podcast. Download it. He's a good guy too. We have nothing but good people here. Had that conversation with someone today because we just added another podcast with a couple of radio legends. Can't tell you about it now. But they asked me about if I would work with this person or that person, or can this guy do a podcast? And they were just going through these lists of names. And I was like, no, yeah. Because they want to join the network. And I said something that is worth repeating. And I think it's a good thing to live by, is I just don't work with assholes anymore. So if you're high maintenance, pain in the ass, don't tell the truth. Emotionally triggered, we won't work with you. It's weird, eh? You can make the rules. That's kind of what I always wanted. Dangerous. Thanks for being part of the podcast. Thanks to Raine Maiden from Our Lady Peace. Stop Making Stupid People Famous. New video lands tomorrow, so check it out. It's really fucking good. Great tune as well. Thanks to Brent. Thanks to Locke. Thanks to you for listening. Thanks to our friends over at Ed's Fine Imports. Ed's Fine Imports sells Gitch, underwear for the man. Boxer briefs, pouch in the front. Put your stuff in. Super comfortable. Order 3, get a 4th pair for free right now when you go to edsfineimports.com and use the promo code GITCH3. He'll just send you 4 pairs of Gitch for the price of 3. Clothing for men and boys. Go there too. Tuxedo season. Some weddings are still going on. He's got all that stuff. edsfineimports.com. EasyAutoFinancial.ca is where you need to go if you're looking for a vehicle. If you're having a hard time getting financing, they do it all for free and 0 obligation as well. These are good people that want to help you find a car if you're having a hard time. EasyAutoFinancial.ca is where you go. They get you financing. They set you up with a car. You don't give them a dime. Smart people. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Domination.com. We use them to produce content. You can do the same thing. It's artificial intelligence for content creators. DMNTN.com. Try them for free today. Producing promos. You can get 70 of them in like 20 minutes. Not even, maybe 10. Actually, I think it's 7. Might even be 5. It's under 10. But it's way better than 4 hours on one promo. So try them today. DMNTN.com. And Blue Microphones, part of the Blue Crew, DeanBlundell.com. Everything you need for gaming, podcasting, streaming, MoFi headphones, USB, Blue Yeti X microphones, preamps are built in. Perfect. Do anything you want with it. Like this, other things. BlueMicrophones.com. Sign up for our newsletter, DeanBlundell.com. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching and being part of the program. Have a lovely day. Bye now.